Hi everyone, this is Heather from VESPER'S Vault, and I'm here today to show you how to get started with your new digital character journal so you'll be all ready to use it in your next adventure. Let's go! Okay, so just a quick word about the compatibility of our digital character journals before we get started here. All our journals are basically just PDF files, which you are editing on top of. This means that they are compatible with most devices and PDF editing apps, as long as the app you're using allows you to use hyperlinks. Our character journals remain the same no matter what app you choose to use. It's the same file from, one program to another, but some features may only work in some apps and not others. For example, some of the Formfill features are only available in PDF editing apps like Adobe Acrobat. Meanwhile, certain note-taking features will only be available in digital journaling apps like Goodnotes. Any limitations in the functionality of the journals will be due to the apps or devices that you are using, not with the journal itself. So we recommend doing your own research to find out what app experience will work best for you based on how you intend to use your character journal. That being said, we do recommend iOS products and the app Goodnotes for the best digital journaling experience on a tablet. Okay, let's get started by downloading our file. All of our files are quite large, so we have them all stored on Dropbox. The file that you download when you purchase anything from our shop will have the link, and it'll look something like this. Whether or not you downloaded the Adventurers pack or just a single journal, these landing pages should look roughly the same. This document also does have a lot of resources for setting up your journal, frequently asked questions, tutorials, and a lot of other things, so I do recommend checking them out. To start our download, all we're going to do is press the big download button. This should automatically initiate the download from Dropbox. You might get a pop-up that looks like this, and all you're going to do is press download, which will begin downloading your file. If you just click this little arrow button up here, you can see that the file is downloading. Depending on how you have your settings set up on your device, this might automatically go to your downloads folder, or you might be prompted as to where to save this on your device. Most of you probably just have this automatically going to downloads, so we'll just wait for this to finish, and then we will copy and paste this file somewhere where it's a little bit easier to find. So you can see the download has finished. We're just going to tap on it to go to it in our file here, and you can see it's right here. So in case you lose track of where this file is, you can always find it in your downloads folder. That's where it defaults to download. And all we're going to do is we're just going to long press this so that you get this menu pop up on the side. We're going to press copy, and I'm just going to move this to a file that is a little bit more accessible for me and a little easier to find. So I made this file called Character Journals just for the sake of these tutorials. I'm going to press and hold here in order to paste this file that I just downloaded into this folder. From here, I'm just going to tap on it so that it unzips. And as you can see, it was successful. We do have all of our items here from the Adventurers pack ready to go. We have our sticker book, we have our character journals, our session journal, our spell stickers, and just a few freebies that we threw in there. Now again, depending on which file you actually purchased, this might look a little bit different. If you only purchased one of the classes, then you probably will just have the one class character journal along with the spell stickers. This is the Adventurers pack, so there is quite a bit here. Okay, so we're ready now to learn how to import our file into Goodnotes. Okay, so we're going to start with Goodnotes. So go ahead and just open up your Goodnotes application on your iPad screen. And to import our journal, we're just going to follow a few easy steps. First, we're going to press this plus button right here to start a new file, and then we're going to press import. So just navigate in your files to where you saved your character journals. So I saved mine right here. And again, we have all of these things here that we can choose from. We're going to choose character journals, and you can choose whichever character journal you would like to use, depending again if you downloaded the adventure bundle, or if you have just a single one, you might only have one of these here. But we're going to click on Cleric for right now, and all we're doing to do is press open. We're going to wait just a moment while that opens for us, and voila, there it is, our Cleric character journal fully loaded into Goodnotes. So when you first open your journal, you can scroll through sideways here and be like, wow, this is awesome. But you might notice right away that, hey, why are my hyperlinks not working? So Goodnotes, and actually Notability does this too, they kind of have two modes to them, where it's like a edit mode and a preview mode. And in order to use the hyperlinks in Goodnotes, you need to turn off the edit mode. So edit mode will always have this toolbar right here with all of the different options. So in order to get rid of that, you just press that little pencil marking right there at the top. And now your hyperlinks should work great. You should be able to go back and forth in between all the different sections, check out what your notebook has to offer here. And of course, if you do want to write in it, make edits, then you can go ahead and press that little note-taking button, and then you have all your regular Goodnotes options here. We do have a tutorial about how to use Goodnotes if you're new to Goodnotes, so just check our channel or refer back to that tutorial introductory document that you got where you downloaded your files, and there should be a host of different tutorials. So if you're new to Goodnotes, don't worry, we have you covered. But for now, this concludes importing your journal into Goodnotes, and we're going to move on to Notability. Okay, so now we're going to import our journal into the Notability app, if that happens to be the one that you would like to use. So we're going to open up the Notability app here. And once it's open, we're just going to press this blue plus new button here on the side, which will bring you to this blank screen. So what we're going to do is select Import here at the bottom with the little square and the arrow. And again, that will bring you up your files, and you can select where you have your files saved. Go to your character journals and choose the one that you would like to use. So this time I'm going to open up the Druid character journal. It'll take just a second to load, and there you go. So with Notability, I always notice it does this, and it kind of drives me a little crazy. It always starts with this multi-page view where you're scrolling vertically. In order to change this so that it looks a little bit better, we're just going to click these three buttons here on the side, and then we're gonna press View Settings. Now, instead of Seamless, which is currently checked, we're just gonna press Single Page, which now will switch to it being able to scroll horizontally, and we'll frame it so that only one page at a time shows up in your journal. And now you are ready to go here. So similarly to Goodnotes, which if you were watching earlier, I mentioned this already. When you first load your document here, oh, actually, I guess Notability does this naturally, but there is a difference between the preview mode and the edit mode. So in order to be able to make sure the hyperlinks work, you have to have this little blue hand selected. If you have something else selected, like the pen tool where you can like write and whatever, then the hyperlinks, it's not that they don't work, you just have to go through an extra step. You have to like press it, and then say go to link, and then it'll work. But if you wanted to just be able to press it and for it to go, the little blue hand needs to be set up there. So that is our intro into importing your journal into Notability. It is ready to go. You can write in it. You can do all sorts of things. So we're going to move on to a couple of the PDF editing softwares, Adobe Acrobat and then Xodo. Okay, so just a quick note before we open up our file in a PDF editing software here on our iPad. It's always a good idea to make backup copies of whatever files you're going to import. It's a little different when you are editing in Goodnotes or in Notability or a note-taking app, because when you import the PDF into those apps, it creates a different file type out of it. So whatever you do to change that file, it doesn't affect the original. However, that isn't the same with a PDF editing app like Adobe Acrobat or Xodo. So you do, or at least I would recommend you to make a backup of the file so that you don't overwrite the original file. So in this case, we're just going to go to our files here and to our character journals, and we'll choose the cleric one here again. So before we even get to opening this, I'm just going to make a backup really quick. So I'm going to press select. I'm going to choose the cleric one here, and I'm going to press share and then copy. And I've actually created a separate folder here called characters just for my actual character sheets here. So I'm just going to long press, so press down and hold, and press paste and put this cleric character sheet into this folder. Now I'm going to just rename this really quick just to be really thorough here. So we'll just give this the name Vesper. There we go, our character Vesper. So this is going to be the file that we're going to open into the next 2 tutorials for Adobe Acrobat and Xodo, just to make sure that any changes that we make aren't going to overwrite the original file, and you will still have that file in order to use it again later for a different character without having to go through and undo any changes that you made. Okay, so let's open up Adobe Acrobat on our iPad here, and we're just going to import that character file that we just made. So we're going to press the little plus button here in the corner, and then we're going to press open file. Now you would think that open on this iPad would be the option that you want to choose, but when you click on that, you get this long, kind of confusing and overwhelming list of files, and it's not particularly helpful. So I would recommend scrolling down and clicking on Browse More Files. When you do that, we're going to navigate to that new folder that I made specifically for characters, and we're going to open up the backup file here that has my character name of Vesper on it. And that's it. Now this is uploaded into your Adobe Acrobat app. We just opened it here. We've got all our files and everything. If when you open it, it looks like this, and you can see that like the pages are poking through and it's not really lining up super evenly, it's a really easy fix. Just click this little page button right here, and on view settings, select single page. That will make it so it snaps, so it just has one page at a time that you're looking at. So now that we have our PDF in a PDF editing software, you can see that we do have these form fill fields that we can fill out now because this software does utilize that. So these are very easy to use. I'll just run through them really quick here. You just click on them and then the keyboard will show up and you can type in them all of the things that you need to type down, right? And the tabs are very intuitive, so they just tab through. There's a lot of check marks as well for things like your skills, your expertise, and whatnot. All of the hyperlinks still work and go to exactly the same place that they do everywhere else. And it's ready to go. Okay, so we're going to now open up our file into Xodo, which is another popular PDF editing app. So we're just going to open our app here, and to import our file, we're going to press this plus mark in the corner, and then we're going to press view and edit file. From here, we're going to select files. We're going to navigate back to that character folder where we did save a backup file with our character name on it, and we're going to click it here. And this is actually going to be a good example of why we're creating that backup, because when this is the same file that we edited before in Adobe Acrobat. And as you can see, when we get to this page with the form fill, all of the form fill does transfer over because it's the same file. So if we had edited the original file, then our original file would always then have all this information in it, which would be a little frustrating if you need to make a different character of the same class and want to use the journal again. So always make a backup. But here we are. That's all you have to do to upload your file into Xodo. And similar to Adobe Acrobat and Notability, if you do have an issue upon loading with, let me just change it here, with how it looks. Like if you see something strange or weird or it doesn't show up exactly how you think it should, go ahead and click these three dots over here, click View Settings, press Single Page. With Xodo, the vertical scrolling needs to be off. So if the vertical scrolling's on, you are going to get that funny little page overlap. It's not as bad as some of the other apps, but it can be a little annoying. But when you switch it so that the vertical scrolling is off, it just evenly snaps to the page. We have horizontal scrolling, which is a little more intuitive, and you can still go to all your different hyperlinks. Everything is working great here. So that is just a little note about uploading your file into Xodo. It is ready to go, and you can start filling it out. So just a quick note about, I guess, how to best use these files. You can, if you're really into digital note-taking, of course, just upload this file directly into Goodnotes and go to town, writing, text-based, all of those things. If you do want to make use of the form fill features, though, and the digital journaling features, you can really use a combination of both apps. So I'm going to just quickly lay out the best way to do that. So I'm going to open up our file here again for Vesper in Adobe Acrobat, where we have all of the form fill settings. So now what I would recommend is, if you're planning on kind of using two programs here, if you're planning on doing some form fill and some digital note taking, I would recommend only filling out in the form fill the things that are not going to change as you progress through your campaign. So, you know, fill out things like your name, your class, etc. And most of the stuff on some of your main stat pages, they change, right? When you level up, your scores might change, you might gain a proficiency somewhere. So all of these things I would categorize as more fluid information that you might want to edit later on. So I would leave, honestly, most of this blank, but one of the sections that I think is pretty easy to fill out and that doesn't really change throughout the course of your adventure is your character backstory. So we have a lot of character backstory prompts here to help you build your character, to figure out how you want to play as your character, a lot of different prompts that you can fill out, right? So let's go to this page real quick, and we can use the form fill here to fill out our character traits, right? I'm just kind of checking some random boxes here of how we want to map out our personality. If you want to fill out things like your virtues, I am a fabulous person. Ooh, I can't spell, but I'm fabulous person. Vices, I don't have any because I'm fabulous. There you go. So this is the type of information that you can fill out, right? Any of our acting prompts, our physical features, and things like that. Okay, so we've filled out our character sheet here as much as I'm going to right now. And of course, you can fill it out to whatever capacity you would like. And the best way to then import it into your Goodnotes app or your Notability app would be to click these three dots here on the corner. And we're just going to press Send a Copy. Now it's going to prepare the file, and then we're going to select, Goodnotes isn't showing up on this main file here, so we're going to actually scroll over to the end here, press more, and we're just going to go ahead and find our Goodnotes program. There you go. So now we're going to import this as a new document. And there we go. So as you can see, the form fill, the things that we did form fill in Adobe Acrobat are here, right? If we go over to our character section, we do have this page where we've got all of our lovely virtues and vices and our character traits already filled out, which can be really good. It can save a lot of time to just fill things out in the form field rather than having to individually adjust all these little text boxes in Goodnotes. So it can be really helpful to fill out the things that you know aren't really going to change beforehand and then import your journal into Goodnotes. So as you can see, the things that I did put here, you can't erase them. You can't select them. there's nothing you can do with them. They have become part of the PDF file and now they are uneditable. So that's important because as you go through your campaign again and things change, you won't be able to change these. So it is important to make sure you're only entering information this way if your eventual goal is to use the Goodnotes app, to only enter information that you know isn't going to change. Otherwise, you would have to flip-flop back and forth between the PDF and the Goodnotes, which you could do, but it would get a little confusing after a while and might not be the best use of your character journal. But if that's what you'd like to do, go for it. We love seeing the creative ways that people have been using these journals to suit their own character journaling needs. But there you have it. Okay, so that wraps up our tutorials for the iPad and how to download and import your files into a variety of different note-taking and PDF editing software, as well as a quick best use of how you can kind of combine these two awesome different types of software into an ultimate note-taking experience for your campaign journal. If you have any other questions about importing or downloading, feel free to drop us a comment. And if you have questions about how to use some of these apps individually, we do have tutorials for Goodnotes, for Notability, and a quick rundown of Adobe Acrobat and Xodo as well, just to get you a little more familiar with these if you aren't used to using them. So check out our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe so that you're always up to date with the newest tutorials that we have coming out. Thank you again, and we hope you enjoy your character journal.